A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. I seek refuge with Allah Almighty from Satan, the rejected one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. By the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wasallam. Inshallah, today we will study 35th Ruku of Surah Al-Baqarah. However, first of all, let's recall what we studied in the previous Ruku. The first thing was that beside moral and physical efforts, financial and other resources shall be spent in the way of Allah to serve the humanity. Number 2, Allah Almighty is the real creator and master of this universe. He has complete knowledge about each and everything. Number 3, along with creation, Allah Almighty formulated rules and regulations by which everything is functioning in this universe. Number 4, man is not compelled born. He has freedom of choice between good and bad, and accordingly, he is held responsible for all of his deeds. Number 5, as per divine system, Allah Almighty sends his messengers for the guidance of mankind. Some people accept message of truth, while majority keeps denying. Number 6, the true believers organize their lives in the light of divine guidance, while non-believers keep wandering in the dark of ignorance. Let's start our today's session by praying from Allah Almighty that He gives us true understanding of the Holy Quran by the grace of Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Surah Al-Baqarah, Ruku number 35, and that is from verses 258 to 260. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alam tara illalladhi ajjaha Ibrahima fi rabbihi an atahu Allahul mulk. Have you not seen the one who argued with Ibrahim alayhi salam about his Lord, and Allah had given him kingdom? Is qala Ibrahim rabbi alladhi yuhyi wa yumeet. When Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death." Qala ana uhyi wa umeet. He said, "I give life and cause death." The first underlined word, alam tara. Didn't you consider? Didn't you see? Second underlined word, ajja, argued, contended. Yuhyi, grants life. Yumeet, makes one to die or causes death. The last underlined word, ana, me, I. In this verse, Allah Almighty has narrated debate of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam with the tyrant king who claimed to be Lord. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam proved his claim wrong and exposed his ignorance and irrationality. He made him speechless in the field of argumentation and showed him correct path. As per various scholars and historians, the name of this king was Namrud, and he was ruler of Babylon. Scholars say that Namrud was king for about 400 years, and he took path of rebellion, oppression, and arrogance. He preferred worldly gains instead of hereafter. When Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam invited him to worship Allah, he denied due to his haughtiness caused by ignorance and error. So Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam argued with him and he claimed to be Lord. Then Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Rabbi jalaz yuhyi wa yumeet. My Lord is the one who grants life and causes death. He replied, Ana uhyi wa umeet. I give life and cause death. Actually, due to his ignorance, he couldn't understand the argument put across by Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, which actually meant that life and death of living beings is a matter of common observation. But these events cannot occur automatically. So there must be an authority. Without the will of whom these things can't happen. There must be a manager of visible events who created them, bound them to their system, which moves the stars, which moves the winds, which moves the clouds from one place to another, and creates these creatures what we see, and then he makes them to die. The verse continues. Kala Ibrahim fa inna Allah yati bi shamse min al mashriq. Ibrahim Islam said, indeed, Allah caused sun to rise from the east. Fatibiha min al maghribi fabuhut allazi kafar. So you caused it to rise from the west, to become dumbfounded, the one disbelieving. Wallahu la yahdil qawm az-zalimin. And Allah doesn't guide the wrongdoing people. The first underlined word, bishams, sun, or something which is continuously moving. We may also call it a source of light. Fabuheta, so became shocked, so became flabbergasted, dumbfounded, speechless. The reality is that one having control of life and death has absolute powers. He can do anything. He cannot be constrained, nor he can be defeated by anyone. Hazrat Ibrahim Islam put across another argument. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْتِي بِالشَّمْسِ مِنَ الْمَشْرِقِ. That this sun, as determined by its real creator, daily rises from the east. So if you are owner of life and death, as you claim, then cause this sun to rise from the west to prove your claim. So if your claim of being Lord is true, then do it, or else it would be proved that your claim is wrong. And everyone knows that you can't do it. That's how Hazrat Ibrahim Islam made it clear that king was ignorant. That king was shocked and remained silent in front of everyone. Allah Almighty says, فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. So he was dumbfounded. Allah doesn't guide wrongdoing people. أَوْ كَالَّذِي مَرَّ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ وَهِيَ خَاوِيَةٌ عَلَى عُرُوشِهَا. Or like the one who passed by a township and that was all in ruins to its roofs. قَالَ أَنَّا يُحْيِي هَذِهِ اللَّهُ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا. He said, how will Allah bring this to life after its death? فَأَمَاتَهُ اللَّهُ مِئَةَ عَامٍ ثُمَّ بَعَثَهُ. So Allah caused him to die for 100 years, then raised him up. The first underlined word, marra, went by, passed by. Karya, a hamlet, a township, a settlement, or we may call a small city. Khaveya, overturned, desolate. Urusheha, its top. Fa'amata, so made him dead, or made him lifeless. Now some of the scholars have mentioned this person as Prophet Uzair. However, this name is not mentioned in the Holy Quran. It appears that a person being referred to in this verse passed by a town which had been destroyed by some calamity or disaster. Now he was astonished that how Allah Almighty would revive a dead town to life again. Allah Almighty caused death to the asking person for 100 years and then raised him up. Now this part of the verse also highlights an interesting phenomena that like us, towns and cities also live and die. And in case when a town or city is upraised, though place remains same, but it would have new layout and shape as per the prevailing environments and dictates. We may also conclude that the only ever living is Allah Almighty. Rest everything in this universe experiences the cycle of death and life. The verse continues. Kala kam labist, kala labisto yawman aw ba'da yawm. He said, that means Allah said, how long you remained? He said, I remained a day or part of a day. Kala bal labista mi'ata amin. Fanzur ila tu'amika wa sharabika lam yatasanna. He said, rather you remained 100 years. So look at your food and your drink. They haven't changed their taste. Labista, have you remained? Tuameka, your eatables, your food. Sharabeka, your beverage, your drink. Lam yatasanna, didn't change with time. Now, after having been upraised, Allah Almighty asked that person as to how long he remained in that state. He answered, a day or part of a day. Allah told him, you remained in that state for 100 years. Now look at your food and drink. They haven't changed their state, and their taste has also not altered. The verse continues. Vandur ila himarika wale najalaka ayatan linnas. And look at your donkey, and will make you a sign for the people. Vandur ila izame kaifa nunshizuha summa naksuha lahma. And look at the bones, how we nurture them, and we cover them with flesh. فَلَمَّا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ قَالَ أَعْلَمُ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. So when it became clear to him, he said, I know that Allah is competent over everything. The first underlined word, anzur, look. Himarika, your donkey. Izam, bones. Nunshizya, we develop them. Naksua, we dress them. Lahma, flesh or meat. Now, when that person observed with his own eyes the process by which dead is raised to life, his level of convincement increased. And he said, I know that Allah Almighty is competent over everything. We can realize from this verse the importance of observation for convincement in this part of the verse. A scientific explanation of the incident which has been narrated in this verse has been given by Hazrat Khaja Shamsuddin Azimi in these words. He says, when man sleeps, he travels in time. And when he is awake, he travels in space, and time travels with it. Therefore, when Hazrat Uzair fell asleep, according to Allah's law, his senses became attached to time. Since there was no movement in the physical body, that's why he said, I slept for a day or part of a day. Secondly, the matter with the donkey is that under normal circumstances, when oxygen entered in the donkey, the carbon didn't burn it, resulting into its death. Number three, the reason that food didn't spoil was that the area where food items were kept was surrounded by cold waves, due to which the molecular movement of the food items was ceased. Therefore, food didn't get spoiled. It's like putting a small refrigerator in a big room. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى. And when Ibrahim said, my Lord, show me how to give life to dead. قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ. Allah said, didn't you believe that? قَالَ بَلَى وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. He said, why not? But to satisfy my heart. The first underlined word, arini, show me. Avalam, have not. Liyatma'inna, to gratify, to satisfy, to put at rest. Kalbi, my heart, my core. Now the word tomin is generally translated as belief, faith, or commencement. Now from the study of Holy Quran, we find three categories of belief or commencement. The first and the lowest, that is ilmul yaqeen. If one is convinced of a knowledge about an object to such an extent that no doubt is left about it, the acquired knowledge would be called ilmul yaqeen, or we can say informed convincement. The next category, that is called ainul yaqeen. If this acquired knowledge becomes observable through evidence, the degree of knowledge now would be called precise convincement, or we can say ainul yaqeen. The highest degree, that is true convincement, and this is called haqqul yaqeen, that if reality of a knowledge becomes evident and the reality of that thing that becomes clear, this is called haqqul yaqeen, true convincement. And we can have an example. I said grapes and described it, and you being a student believed it. The knowledge you obtained would be called informed convincement. You got an opportunity to go to a garden, and there you saw the grapes and you tasted them. Now this knowledge you acquired about grapes is precise convincement. Later, by your further efforts, you came to know that why grapes grow in a vine, which of the formulas of nature are working in the earth for its sweetness, sourness, and the taste in the grapes. Now this would be called true convincement. Now Hazrat Ibrahim Islam used to carry out research to know reality of the things. Now he wanted to see the power of Allah through research. It was with this intent that Hazrat Ibrahim Islam asked Allah Almighty about life after death, and that is the resurrection after death. Allah asked, Avalam Tomin, don't you believe in it? He replied, I do believe in it. I know that you are all competent. You can do everything. I'm asking because this informative convincement, I am seeking precise convincement through observation, so that ultimately it can lead me to true convincement. Hazrat Ibrahim's request to Allah Almighty that he has faith, but he asks this question for the satisfaction of heart. That means that observation or the mushahada is must for satisfaction of heart, for attainment of precise convincement. The verse continues. Qala fakhuz arba'atan min at-tayri fasurhunna ilayk, said, so take 4 of the birds and commit them to you. Summa jal ala kulli jabalin minhunna juz'a, summadhunna yatina ka saya. Then put on each hill a portion of them. Then call them. They will come to you in haste. Walam anna Allah azizun hakim. And know that Allah is almighty, all-wise. The first underlined word, fakhuz. So take. At-tayr, flying by its wings, or you may say a bird. Fasurhunna, so familiarize them to you. Jabal, mountain, prominence, hill. Juzam, a slice, a small part. Saya, swiftly, hurriedly. Now, as per the details given in this part of the words, Hazrat Ibrahim Islam did whatever Allah Almighty had told them. So when he called them, all their parts which were separate came in their form. Now there is a formula in this verse also, that how a friend of Allah or a pious person can bring to right path those people who are ignorant about the reality of life, which is termed as mouth. As a first step, he brings them closer to him and develop with them such a degree of association that they become his loyal and faithful. Then he gets them acquainted with the divine system. And this strategy is likely to make them appreciate truth. By doing so, they can be introduced to the real life. A brief conclusion of the Ruku we just concluded. Life and death of living beings is a matter of common observation. But these events can't occur automatically. So there is some authority without the will of whom these things cannot happen. And that is Allah Almighty. Like us, towns and cities also live and die. When a dead town is upraised, though the place remains same, but it would have new layout and shape as per the prevailing environment and dictates. Observation is must for the satisfaction of the heart. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyul azim. Sallallahu ta'ala ala habibihi Muhammadin wa alihi wa sallam.